Good morning. This is Margaret Fetty at the University of Sewing at the Tailored Fit, and we want to welcome you to our Friday Facebook Live. And this morning I thought I would spend a little bit of time telling you about something that we have. It's a little more unique than some places. We have probably about 500 bolts of fabric just for clothing. And some of those are on actually rolls and some of those are on bolts, but I wanted to kind of stand here in the midst of all these wonderful clothes, and these are all samples made of fabrics we have, and I wanted to show you some of the beautiful things that you could potentially make. Most of these are very simple patterns, and even if you are just a beginning sewer, a thing like a tunic top is a super easy top to make. And you may want to consider whether or not you want to make some of your own clothes. I don't know about you, but I go to the stores, I go online, I try to purchase things. Nothing ever fits me right. So we have here some gorgeous fabrics that you won't find anywhere else. We have fabrics from Japan, we have fabrics from Denmark, we have fabrics from Italy. And next 2 weeks, we just ordered a whole bunch of new ones that we're going to be getting in, and I'm really excited to bring those to you. So keep an eye on our website, which is theuniversityofsewing.com, and see if you can't see some of those fabrics. And you know, the nice thing about these fabrics is some of them work beautifully for scarves. It's that time of year where we think about scarves. They keep us warm. Sometimes they just make up into something really simple and beautiful. Like the fabric makes this top. There's no two ways about it. And this fabric happens to be reversible, and it's a fabric from Japan. And so what I did with this particular top is I just made it reversible by making my seams just French seams, nothing terribly complicated. And I just sewed everything with a nice finished rolled edge, and then I bound the sleeves and I bound the neckline. And you know how to do that if you quilt. If you quilt, you know how to bind things. And believe it or not, it's not any harder to bind those edges than it is to bind your quilt. You're gonna do the same process. And you say, well, what about it fitting? Well, a top like this fits very loosely, and it's not going to be a difficult thing to do. And we have the patterns. And the patterns that we have, most of them are independent pattern companies or indie pattern companies. And I'll show you some of those here in a few minutes. But the really cool thing about them is that they usually come with a wonderful description on how to do these processes. But if you know how to sew straight lines and you know how to put binding on because you quilt, you can do these clothes. So let's go and show you a little bit more here. Now, this particular group of patterns are all by a woman named Pamela Leggett. And I've had the pleasure of talking to Pamela several times. She is a super nice lady, and she gets what our bodies need, which is she's designing for the older woman, not necessarily your 20-something with a perfect body. She's designing things for us. And so she has these beautiful tunic tops, and she has wonderful t-shirts. If you're not a tunic person, she has wonderful t-shirts. And then she has these great little jackets, and they're all made of knit. Now, we've talked a number of times about our sergers and our cover stitch machines. So you can do all of those things, and we have the machines here. If you're not sure about that sort of thing, you can come into the University of Sewing, and we can show you how a serger works and a cover stitch, and you can decide if this is something you want to get into. But boy, is it fun to be able to make your own clothes. The top I'm wearing right now, while we don't have this fabric anymore, I made this, and believe it or not, I made it in less than an hour and a half. And you know, instead of going out and buying fabric, or excuse me, a clothing item that will pill and not look good on you and is too thin. One of the things that I really don't like my knits to be is too thin. They show too many bumps and bulges that I don't want to show. So we have fabrics, and this group right here that we're looking at, this is a group of fabric from a company called Stoff. And Stoff's out of Denmark. So these Denmark knits are the best knits that I've ever come across as far as not pilling. I've had my tops made out of these fabrics for a couple of years now, and I still don't have any of them that pill. So that's a really special thing. So these are really beautiful. And if you're not sure which fabric is going to go with the pattern you've picked, give us a call. We'll help you with it. And over onto this side, again, we're talking about clothing today, so I thought I'd mention this. We have a wonderful selection of wools. Now you say, well, I don't know if I can work with wool. Well, wool's actually easier to work with than cotton is. It's a wonderful fabric. The stitches and sewing it, if you get a chance to sew just a little bit with wool, you're going to fall in love. It's beautiful. You can do quilts out of it, because if you think about it, you can do those wool applique types of things. But the other thing you can do is make simple jackets. All you need is to have some way to finish your seams. And so these wools are beautiful, and we have a great selection. I always tell you about the fact that we have international fabrics. These hand-dyed denim fabrics, these are made from fabrics out of Maui, Africa. So those are really pretty special. And see the kimono jacket we made out of it? There is nothing difficult about this. It's not something that you have to do super amounts of fitting. All the seams are very simple, and anyone who quilts could make that jacket. I had a customer recently come in, and she was looking at one of our patterns, and she went ahead, and by the way, we're going to have a place to show off all of our customers' wonderful makes. We're going to have a virtual show and tell on our website that you'll be able to add your pictures to from fabrics you used from the shop. But she said, Margaret, can I make this jacket? And I got her, we helped her find the right fabrics for it, and she made it up 2 days later, got it all finished. And she said she was so surprised how quickly it went together, and she was so happy with the results. And now she's got this lovely flowing rayon jacket that she never thought she could make. And she's gonna make another one. I'm so proud of her. So some more fabrics from Africa. These are really interesting. This one's a rayon. This one is mud cloth. Now, you know, the cool thing about some of these fabrics is if you wanted to, you could just put a sleeve on them and hang them on a wall. They're really beautiful. We have shirting fabrics. We have plenty of, we have some coating wools. So let's rep and see, those are with those wools. These are those beautiful wool applique patterns. We have lots of different squares that you can buy. We have lots of different patterns. This is a wonderful hand project that you can take anywhere with you. So if you're looking for a project that's travelable, or just to sit in front of the television and you can just do it while everybody else is chatting or whatever, this is a great project. I want to bring you back over here, and this group of fabrics, these three right here, all from Italy. We have a wonderful source of fabric that gets us some really gorgeous fabrics, and this is a border print, and so is this one. And this lovely fabric right here is kind of a gauzy material. We'll probably need to be lined, but I've washed all of them. We did not have shrinkage of any of them. None of them shrank. They all came out gorgeous washing them. And all I did to test it out was I cut a strip, measured them, serged my edges, and threw them in my regular laundry, and they came out gorgeous. These fabrics right here, these are all rayons, as are these couple, but we also have some cotton lawns. And these, while there's only 2 over here, we actually have about 20 cotton lawns. Now, you're probably wondering, what do I do with these fabrics? Well, you could do something with these fabrics, like if you have a granddaughter or a niece, or maybe it's your own child, you could do something like this lovely little pattern right here. The wonderful thing about making kids' clothes, we don't have to worry about fitting too much. So most of them, we can make up a clothing item for them pretty simply. And we've got some wonderful patterns right here that grandmas and aunts and moms, look at these. These are wonderful and simple. There's nothing difficult. We even have some doll patterns. So for the budding astronaut or the budding scientist and geologist, we have some wonderful doll clothes for them. So when we come back over this way, I have some gorgeous linens, linen blends. Linen blends are fun because usually what you can do with those is you can wash and dry them and they don't wrinkle as much. But linen, a lot of people don't realize this, is if you take your linen and you wash and dry it initially, then you can keep on just washing it and drying it, and you don't have to use the dry cleaners. Now sometimes if it's 100% linen, you probably want to touch it up with your iron. Remember I was saying that we had a lot more cotton lawns. Here's some more cotton lawns. We even have some wonderful cotton lawns from a designer out of Japan. Look at this gorgeous border print. It's so beautiful. And this fabric is very much like your Liberty of London cotton lawn, and you can use it just the same way you would use those. Now sometimes people do quilts out of them, but what they also do is they make beautiful little girls dresses or wonderful tops for the summer, and they can make a wonderful summer dress. So these are really great in that respect. We also have some linen knits, which are very thin and work really well for layering. We have some beautiful batik rayons. So that's what these all are batik rayons. We have some batik knits. So if you aren't aware of all the wonderful things we have here, as far as clothes go, I really, I think this is a great time to explore this and have a lot of fun with it. You can cut your fabric out on your rotary cutter mat. We've got videos about that. And if you didn't know, we have a ton of videos, I mean like 70 of them on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, search out University of Sewing, and you will find our YouTube videos. And we have a lot on how to use and what the features are of our Bernina sewing machines. I'm just posting in the last couple of days, those of you who have a 7 series or 4 series or 5 series, putting that hook back into your machine sometimes is hard to do. And guess what? We have a video that shows you a really simple way to do it. So if you have problems with that, I have a wonderful video that will show you how to do that. Back to our clothing talk today. I want to point out all these different patterns. I said we had a lot of patterns from independent pattern companies. And I like these patterns a lot because they're kind of different, they're fun, they're supporting individuals who are going ahead and doing a lot of work to bring you some really interesting and beautiful clothing items. And their pattern instructions are usually very good and more in-depth than the typical patterns that you'll see from the Big 4 company. When you look at a lot of those, while they're inexpensive, they don't have good instructions. So if you're a beginner, what I would suggest you look at is something like an apron pattern, or you might want to go ahead and do something like a oversized fitted shirt. These are pretty, those aren't too bad. Or a skirt. Skirts are pretty simple, they're pretty easy to fit. So there's a lot of different things out there. But aprons are a great place to start because usually there's nothing too complicated about them. And as I said, if you're worried about picking the correct fabric for the pattern, all you have to do is give us a call and we'll be happy to tell you about that. Our phone number is 812-323-2665. And you can also email us at info@universityofsewing.com. So we're going to switch gears just a little bit. On Wednesday, I released our latest video from our sew along. We're doing the Granny's 1930s Sampler. This book, we're doing all the different blocks in it. Every 2 weeks on Wednesday, we release a new video. And if you want to be included in that and hearing what those videos when they happen, and when I release them, because I usually release them for a couple of days and don't put them available to the public. So if you want to be one of the first ones to get these, please leave me your email message in the comments and I'll be happy to do that for you. But this has turned out to be really fun. Denise, who works for us, is our kind of quilt expert, and she's been making these blocks and making the videos, and they've been turning out wonderful. It's so much fun to watch her. If you are not familiar with the Lizzie Albright book, that is where the quilt came from. The idea for the quilt came from this book called Lizzie Albright and the Attic Window. And I started reading this over the holidays because I thought it might be really fun to read it to my granddaughters. Well, my granddaughters, I think, are just a little bit young for this, so I'm going to wait another year. But I love this book. I have had so much fun reading this. This has been so nice. It's just a wonderful story. It's set back in the, I want to say back in the early 60s, and it is so interesting to hear all the different things. I mean, just revisiting my childhood all over again. So this is really a lovely, lovely book, and I would recommend it for adults to read. So if you have some probably 8, 9, 10-year-old grandchildren, this would be really fun to read to them. And then if you're working on your own sampler blocks, you might go ahead and share with them what you're doing, and maybe you can even teach them how to quilt. So I just think that's a really fun way to handle all that, and we have all those books in stock, and we would love to get you started on the sampler blocks if you want to. So we have the videos of the sew along, we have the products you need to be able to do it, and it has been really fun to be participating in that. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to take you over here, and I'm going to show you some of the samples that we've made at the shop. Most of these fabrics are still available. So for example, this fabric, believe it or not, was made using one of our wide back quilting cottons. Isn't that fun? And that's one of our patterns, the Exceptional Patchwork Dress. And look how pretty that is. And you don't have to worry about the sizing too much because this lace up side, it makes it where it adjusts very easily. And look at that. So you just pull it however much you need, and that helps fit it. And you don't have to worry about getting it perfectly fitted on you. And the pattern is really a very easy pattern to use. The most complicated part of it is that peaked part right here. That's probably the hardest part. So we have over here also this really cute little knit dress. This is using some of our knits, and then we just did a skirt, and this was a border print, and what we did to make it look like it's tiered was just to add some lace. That's a really simple way to make something look very complicated, and it wasn't complicated. Now, if you'll notice, it has a beautiful embroidery on the front of it. Alice, who works for us, did the gorgeous embroidery on this, and she has the touch. And so if you're working with embroidery and you're having problems and you need somebody to help you, she's wonderful. And we have her here to answer questions about embroidery and teach people who bought our machines that have embroidery. She teaches them how to use it, and everybody loves Alice. So you'll have a good time with her. This fabric right here is a beautiful fabric from Robert Kaufman, and it is a linen and cotton blend, and it is just absolutely beautiful. It's washable, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous indigo blue color. This fabric down here is a cotton and steel fabric, and this right here, these little edges right here, were done with a serger. Over here, I showed you that pattern that I thought, the Very Merry Apron. Really simple, nice little pattern. It's got tucks right here, but you know what? If you don't need the tucks, you don't have to put them in there. So this is a simple, it looks literally, it's a square. You can do this. Everybody can do this apron. If you can quilt, you can make this apron. And it doesn't need to be sized particularly, you know, for the very smallest of us and the very largest of us. Yes, there's some changes in the pattern a little bit, but it's so simple. And this would be such a wonderful gift if you have somebody coming a birthday coming up, something you want to do special for someone, what a pretty little gift you can give them. So I think you only need 1.25 yards of fabric to make this apron, and you're set and ready to go. So then we're going to, this is some of our fabric. It's from Andover. It's just a cotton knit, and I made this using our 890. The 890 is a cover stitch serging machine. It did the stitching down here. I was able to just turn under and just stitch right along here, and it made a beautiful hem for me on my sleeves and on my bottom hem. I was also able to do the same thing at the neckline. And this one used Pamela Leggett's pattern called Peekaboo Swing Tunic. And I love that pattern. I make that up a lot because it's just such a comfortable top. Then right beside it, we have Indigo Junctions, Indigo Essentials Artesian Pants. Again, a super simple pattern. It's just got a couple of tucks in it and an elastic waistline. And how cute is that? Make it out of a knit, make it out of a woven, and you've got a cute little pair of pants. Remember I said we've got a lot of things that we've recently put on sale. Well, if you look at this basket here, I'm putting things in the remnants now, or end of bolts, starting at 3 yards or smaller. So we've got some Japanese fabric. Now all of these are 30% off, so it's a really good deal. Then we have some fabrics from our Andover collection of Declassified. We have some African fabric. This is a beautiful wax cotton. Some more Japanese canvas material. Very cute, make a great bag for somebody. These are all online. By the way, all of the stuff I'm showing you, you can find on our website, universityofsewing.com. We're gonna finish up today with one last thing I wanted to tell you about. I'm gonna end up at our beautiful Q16. This right now is on sale for $7,499. It's the cheapest price you will see of the year. And we are offering a virtual Bernina class called Virtual Creative Quilting. This is going to be an hour-long class, and even if you just have a domestic machine, meaning you have perhaps a Bernina, even a 330 or a 335, you can watch this class and get a lot of tips on how to do free motion quilting and what it is that you would be able to do as far as creatively quilting. They're going to show you a bunch of different feet, all the different processes. I'm going to host it at the beginning, and then we'll have Bernina come in with their educators, and they will do that, do the class, and then at the end we'll talk again. Anyone who signs up for this, we're going to be sending you a coupon for 20% off of any item you want to buy. That's on our list for this class. So this class is on January 26th at 10 a.m. It's going to go from 10 to 11, they claim. But I know usually Bernina's really good. If they have extra questions, they'll stay there for as long as they want. So what we will be doing is, if you want to go online to our website, universityofsewing.com, go to the classes page. Then it's right in the menu. One of the tabs you can pick is classes. So click on that and then scroll down a little bit and you'll see a bunch of different classes. And the class you want to look for is called Creative Quilting. It's a virtual class. So what happens is you purchase that class, and it's only $29.95. You can't beat the price. And so you go on there and go ahead and buy that. We will send you a link for the class when it's available, and you will be able to just log on to your computer and be able to do that. And we're going to have somebody here at the shop. So if you have any problems and you're having problems getting online, we'll have somebody here to talk to you when that's going on, and hopefully be able to walk you into getting onto that site and not have any problems with that. So universityofsewing.com, go online. You can buy any of the fabrics you saw today, any of the patterns. You can buy any of those books that I showed you. You can also purchase the class for the virtual quilting class, and I hope you'll want to attend because I think you'll learn a lot and it'll be a lot of fun. And we're looking forward to hearing from you. We are open. Everybody is using their masks. No, I don't have one on right now. You wouldn't understand me. So normally I wear a mask when anybody's in here. And so you can come in. I mean, I've talked to lots and lots of our customers, and they say they're not comfortable going very many places, but they'll come in here because they feel comfortable. We usually at any one point in time, I think we've had 2 customers at the same time. It's not been busy here, so you're not going to be coming into a crowd. So we want you to feel comfortable and safe. So if you are comfortable going out a little bit and you want to come in here, we're happy to demo a machine for you. We're happy to help you find your fabric. We're happy to get you in and out quickly. We don't want you in here to spend any longer in here than you're comfortable with. So you are more than welcome to come in. We also are doing curbside pickup, but we'll also ship to you. So we have lots available to you, and don't forget, we're on YouTube. Go and look at those YouTube videos. There's all the Granny Smith, or I say Granny Smith, I keep on doing that. It's not an apple. The Granny Sampler, 1930 sampler from Ricky Timms. That whole, so far what we've done, we're on block number 6 this week. So all of the previous blocks are online and available to you now. So go on there and follow our sew along. You'll have a great time with that. And we are very, very happy to be your quilting shop. You have a wonderful day, and off we go to the tailored fit. So universityofsewing.com is our website. Same thing with our YouTube channel. And don't hesitate to call us at 812-323-2665, and we'll happily answer any questions you have. Have a great day, everybody.